Okay, let's do this. Okay, let's do this. I'm ready for this. Okay, let's do this. I am ready. We are back on YouTube. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Udwakutu and I'm a content creator here on YouTube, and I shoot from Lagos, Nigeria, and I shoot about lifestyle, chit chat, cooking, food, and a lot more good stuff. If this is your first time of seeing my face, thank you so much for watching this video, and please be a part of my community by subscribing to my YouTube channel. And if you are an OG subscriber and you have been here with me from day one, thank you so much for being here. And as usual, please watch this video and give it a big thumbs up. I love you guys. Mwah. I wasn't supposed to be here now. I said I wasn't coming on YouTube again till I'm done fixing my studio space. But a lot of questions being asked on my... Sorry, I'm looking at my viewfinder because I'm still trying to get used to this camera thing. To shoot with this thing, just cover the viewfinder, but I need to look at it because I need to know my surroundings, and I'm still trying to work with this camera. I've never used the camera to shoot before, except my last, like I've never had owned one before until now. So I'm still trying to get the settings and how to work it. So that's why I'm looking at my viewfinder to see if maybe my shot is blurry or something like that. Okay. So today, I am here to give you tips on how to have a wedding on a budget. So I realized that a lot of brides-to-be have been sending me messages. In fact, one sent me a message as far back as my introduction asking me questions. And I'm so sorry that I did not respond to that message on time. A lot of things been happening, man. I have been off the grid. So today's video is about planning your wedding on a budget. Now, if you are a bride-to-be and you have all the money in this world to spend, then maybe this video is not for you. Okay, but if you're a bride-to-be and you don't have the money, you have money but you don't feel the need to spend so much on a wedding, or like maybe you're just managing yourself but you want to do things right and you feel like you guys want to do a wedding and you don't know how to make it happen, this video is for you. So come inside. Come on, girl, I got you. Come on. Okay, I'm going to be giving you, I think there are 11 tips or so. I'm just going to start from one. First tip is going to be putting God first. If you are planning a wedding and you think that because you have found your husband and you guys are lovey-dovey, you don't need God anymore, my sister, you're on a long term. Guys or brides, because this video, I literally came to make it for them brides. Don't let anybody deceive you. You see God inside marriage, inside wedding planning. You hold him like this, tight. You got it. It is very important to put God first, because the trials and tribulations is not a people thing. It's not a person thing. It's a wedding thing. During my own wedding, when I was planning my wedding, I cannot explain how tested I was in my wedding. Me and my husband, we were fighting like cats and dogs. Like, it was crazy. You would think that we did not know each other. We would fight on the lamest shit ever. Like, it was so weird, guys. And you just imagine the relief I felt when Mary Colette said the same thing. And I was like, oh, okay. Oh, so people actually go through this. Like, I went through it and now someone else is going through it and I'm watching her experience. If you are planning a wedding, the first tip ever before anything, put God first. Bruh, hold God tight, because don't think because you found your husband, you cannot be tested. You would. Well, Pastor Mildred used to say something. The person you're playing with is not playing with you. You can be tested and call everything quits. Don't think because he has proposed and you guys have done ring and... My sisters, hold God tight. That's my first tip for today. For tip number 2 is you and your husband has to be one front. Like, you and your husband must work as a team. Throughout the planning of this wedding, you guys must stand as a team. Like, your husband should not be saying A and you are saying Z. The two of you, if they come and ask your husband should say A. If they go and ask you, you two, you will say A. That's what I mean. If you want to plan your wedding on a budget, make sure you work as a team. It is very important because families might test you, right? But I promise you, if you and your husband are on same front, on same page, nothing they happen. Because why? Because even if they come and report you to him or report her to him, you guys are on the same page and you stand in decision making together. Okay, so that's also a very important thing, because if you guys don't stand on the same decisions, if they come and say, your wife said we are using just 300 guests, we want 500 guests, and your husband said, okay, 500 guests, and you are working with 300 guests, you see that there's a problem there now. So you guys have to be one front. Okay, it is very, very important when planning a wedding on a budget. Even if you're not planning a wedding on a budget, it is important that you and your husband one front. Okay, so my next tip is going to be have a budget. You cannot be planning your wedding on a budget without a budget. And don't ever make the mistake of saying, let's just be planning it and be going. Let's just be buying things and be going. No, have a budget, auntie. You and your husband, you're a team now, right? You guys have passed that stage. Next stage is deciding how much are we spending on this wedding. So if you and your husband decide we're spending 1 million on this wedding, no, you are not going past 1 million. You have decided that you are spending 1 million. So whatever you guys are doing, it is in your 1 million budget. Even if you're going to pass the budget, it's just by maybe a few thousand. 1 million is the budget. So if you guys have set your budget to 1 million, when you are planning your planning, make sure you are planning a planning of 900. You have extra 100K for miscellaneous. Anything can happen. So just have a little spending money, and it should be from that same 1 million. And if you're going to pass the 1 million, maybe just buy little, not so much. Okay? My next tip is tricky. It's very, very tricky. It is very, very tricky. But if you want to plan your wedding on a budget, then leave wedding planners alone. Because, your wedding planner alone has taken like half of the 1 million. Yeah. So when I planned my wedding, I planned it myself. I didn't use any wedding planner. It was very tough. I'm not even going to lie. It was tedious. It was tough. It was stressful. In fact, after my wedding, I felt ill immediately. My wedding was today. When I woke up the next day, I was sick. So if you have decided that you're going to plan your wedding yourself, understand that it is very strenuous. It is hard work, okay? But we're working with a budget and we do not have money for wedding planner. So yeah. And sometimes it's not as if you do not have the money for a wedding planner. Like me, when my own wedding, I could afford a wedding planner. I didn't just want it because I didn't see the need. I've made plans. I've done this planning thing for other people's wedding and, events. So I was like, I definitely should be able to handle mine. And I did a beautiful job. Okay. I can't wait to put out my wedding video so you guys see what I'm talking about. I did a beautiful job for my wedding and I did it myself with help, When I say help, like I had my sister Clara with me and there was my friend all the way in Aja. I mean, little bits of pieces like that, but I planned it myself and it came out nice, even though I felt like I was lost in it because I had spent all the whole month planning for it. And when the day now came, it now looked somehow, but yeah, it was fun for people. It was fun for me. I enjoyed it. It was a beautiful day. So if you are planning your wedding on a budget, make sure you remove wedding planner. The next tip is going to be think outside the norm. Now, what I mean by think outside the norm is you are working with a budget, right? And most times as women, even when we are working with a budget, we still want the Bella Nigeria wedding. We still want the glitz and glamour. We still want the fun stuff. We still want exoticness, if that's a word. And because left for our husbands, they will just wear shirt and trouser and they are off the wedding. Not to consign them, right? But we women, we like details. We like, exquisite. We like the glitz and glamour. So most times this wedding thing is us. We are the problem. It's us. When I say think outside the norm, is that you want expensive things, right? But you don't want to spend money on expensive things. So what do? Try and see how you can DIY most of these exquisite things you see that you want at your wedding. Yes, my dear sister, it is very possible. For starters, decor. You can do your decor yourself because first of all, okay, now let me give you an example from my own wedding. So I knew that I wasn't going to be spending so much money on decor. I didn't want to do that exotic decor, you know, everywhere, glam and all that. It's not that I can't afford it. It's just that it's just a 1 day event. Why do I want to spend like close to 2 million naira on decor for a day event? It wasn't just the adding was not just adding. It wasn't making sense to me, you know, like maybe when I was younger, I would have done that, but now, nah, nope, I'm not going to do that. So I decided that I was going to look for a hall that was a beautiful hall that didn't need decor. This is your tip. Are you listening? If you're a bride out there and you don't want to spend so much more money on decor, look for a hall that is beautiful, a beautiful on its own. So the hall I used, I think I'm going to put clips here for you. My hall was very, very beautiful without no decor. Like the chandelier, the place was white, all white, and they had these veils all over and it was all white. It was on its own. It was a beautiful hall. Okay, a beautiful hall will cover even if it's just table and chair. Okay guys, so my camera battery went dead. Feels so surreal saying that my camera battery went dead. So when I'm talking about going out the norm, that's what I mean. Like look for a hall that is not, you know, ugly, so that you don't need much decor. Also, try and DIY something. Like I know people who DIY their flower, their bouquet, they did it themselves. I know people who put like stuff in their events that they did themselves, painting stuff. People actually buy the board and put it there and let the ushers handle it. People come and make their paintings. Like you can actually make your wedding very extravagant with a lot of DIY stuff that people don't even know. Google and YouTube, they are your friends. Don't play. If there's something you want, just check on how to do it yourself. It will save you money and it will save you time. All right, so let's move to the next one. Another way you can save money, no using of bridesmaids or groomsmen. Yes, and this is not just for yourself. You can save money for them also. I didn't use any at my wedding because I felt like there was no need for it. If you are planning on doing a budget wedding, then it should be a small wedding, not a big wedding. So why do you need bridesmaids and groomsmen and all those? You understand? It's not necessary. Trash it. You don't need it. Okay. Just the point is you're going to celebrate yourself and your husband. So there's no need for all those extra. Okay. Because some people actually pay for hotel rooms, pay for outfits for their groomsmen and their bridesmaids. So why? So for my next one is another tricky one. Rent your wedding dress. Like your wedding, I think even the grooms do, they rent theirs too. I don't know, but I think I saw it somewhere on Instagram when I was planning my wedding. I think the grooms, they rent their suits too. So it is a very beautiful idea. If you know that you are trying to work on a budget, just rent your wedding dress. Depends on the kind of dress you are renting, but just rent a dress. All right, so my next tip is use your friends as vendors. If you have a friend that does something that you want at your wedding, you've never patronized them before, this is the time to patronize your friends. If you have a friend that does cooking, if you have a friend that is into ushering, if you have a friend that's into decor, you have a friend that is into security, you have a friend that is into cooking, you have a friend that is into emceeing, you have a friend that is into DJing, this is the time to wake them up. This is the time to wake them up, okay? Because, baby, you don't want to spend so much money on this stuff, right? And they are your friends. Of course, I'm not saying you should get them for free, but they will always give you a discount. Another way you can cut costs when you're working on your wedding with a budget is using your apartment. I know this is going to be like, but trust me, if you cannot afford a hall, use your house, use your father's compound. Because I do know that some, not all, but most parents have a compound house. Like, a compound, you know what I mean? When I mean a compound, like they have a house. If your father has a house and he has a large compound, use it. I know this is funny and, like I said, all these tips are for if you want to do a budget wedding. Like if you know that you do not want to spend so much money on your wedding, You can use your house. You can use your space. All you need is decor and it will bring out something very beautiful. Okay, it's not necessary to use a hall. There's no place that decoration cannot turn to heaven. No, seriously, I'm telling you, if you're not going to get a hall, then I feel like you should be able to use the whole money to do your decor in your space. I know that we want to impress people, want to do it for people, but see, the most important thing is you. Now, the next one, another way of cutting costs, use a dummy cake, guys. Guys, let me tell you something. For my wedding, I used a dummy cake. Oh. I'm sure most people don't even know that my cake was a dummy cake. So the last layer of my cake was the only cake that was in that cake. Every other thing was a dummy cake. I'm going to put a picture here so you see what I'm talking about. You and I know nobody's going to see that cake. You guys are not going to eat that cake. You are not. Let's be for real. You're going to dump that cake in the freezer. It's probably going to be there for months before you finish it. And then why are you consuming that much sugar? You don't need it. Leave that cake. Use a dummy cake. I used a dummy cake. Okay, the only layer of my cake. I wanted to use a whole full dummy cake, but people were like, oh, it will look weird that you don't cut the cake. Just so you cut the cake. The last layer was the only cake there. Every other thing was a dummy. It made very good sense. So what I did now for guests, because of course I want my guests to eat cake, I baked my wedding cake. I don't see when I tell you that I felt ill the moment I was done with my wedding. It wasn't a joke. So what I had done, because most of my friends actually love my chocolate cake, so I decided to take it upon myself to make the cake that I was going to share at the wedding. So I baked my cake and I got, those fancy nylons they use in wrapping cake. I took my time. I diced them into pieces. I had them in those nylons wrapped up and ready to go. That was the cake I shared for everybody to eat. Nobody ate the cake that was on the stand. So this is why I tell you can DIY most of these things. Don't stress yourself. Don't stress yourself. You can actually DIY these things. Okay, the person that is making the dummy cake for you can make portion cakes to share to your congregation and you'll be good. Okay, so that's another way you can cut cost if you are running your wedding on a budget.
So while I was recording, my audio stopped working. I don't know what happened. Like I said, I'm still trying to use this camera and getting used to it. You understand? I'm still trying to get the setting and how it works, right? So I am so sorry. But I'm going to explain what I was saying here in the last tip. So my last tip was use a content creator if you cannot afford a videographer. Now, in my own case, during my wedding, when it came to videography and photography, it was costing over 700,000 and I wasn't ready to spend that amount of money. So I discussed with my photographer and I told her I wasn't going to do videography, I was just going to do photography. So every video that you see at my wedding was done by my sister, my husband's friend, who just did some recording for me because I had told them that there was no videographer coming. Okay, so I was too cranked up with, like, I was too choked with what I was doing, so I didn't remember to get a content creator. But if you cannot afford a videographer, do not stress yourself, because these days it's becoming really expensive. There are content creators who do that. I personally, I do that for a living. I do recordings for events. Okay, so if you cannot afford the big guns, all you need to do is just get a photographer to take pictures, because the pictures are very important, right? So you need a photographer to take pictures. But when it comes to videography, you can DIY it by using a content creator. And this is me just putting myself out there. If you are looking for a content creator to shoot your event or your wedding, I am here. You can contact me and let's talk business. Okay, give me a call. Like, just send me a DM. I'll be there and I'll shoot your content for you. Okay, so I guess you guys will just have to wait till when I put my wedding video up and you will see all that was taken, the shot. And I promise you, most of them were done by phone. They were done by phone. I did not have a videographer at my wedding. So if you cannot afford it, do not stress yourself. Don't panic. Okay, don't panic. Just get a content creator to shoot your wedding. It's not going to cost that much. I don't think it will cost that much, like that of a videographer. You understand? Because videographers were costing like 400, 350, and I don't think a content creator will take that much. Okay, so if you are having issues with that, don't bother, don't stress yourself. Just contact a good content creator and you are good to go. I promise you. So that was my last tip, and I hope it was helpful.
I think the last tip I was going to give, I'd already mentioned it before, which is don't use too much delicacies in your wedding. Like don't do too much. Don't do too much. Okay. Stick to 1, 2 meals and that's okay. Okay. So if you like one jollof rice, stick to jollof rice and beef, and then you pick one soup and then you do like three solids, like maybe eba, amala, fufu. So you have egusi and then you have ewedu and begiri. That's so. At the end of the day, the most important people when it comes to your wedding is you and your husband. At the end of the day, any other person that has their own is noise in your ear, take it out, drop it somewhere. Okay, the only important person should be you and your husband, and the two of you. Your decisions is what matters. Okay, and trust me, at the end of the day, everybody's going to forget. Bruh, I promise you, everybody's gonna forget that. Oh, we didn't eat rice. All they will be thinking about is how they had a memorable time at your wedding. And that's what should be paid attention to. How to make your guests enjoy themselves and have a memorable time. So, guys, I've come to the end of this video because it's time for me to come and be good because I'm saying too much. But in all, I wish all the brides to be that are following me right now, I wish you guys so much love and joy and favor and help and strength planning your wedding, because it is not an easy journey. See, I know they say like the marriage is the journey, but you see planning a wedding. Ah, mm, I pray for grace for all of you. It's not easy. And this is coming from someone who has done it. It's not easy. Now, like I said, if you have the money to go wild, please do. Okay. Pay attention to things that will make your marriage more successful, not the wedding. The marriage is what is important, not the wedding. So don't give it all to the wedding. Remain small for the marriage. Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. Do not forget to give us a big thumbs up if you watched it to this very point. I love you with all my heart. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope this was helpful. I'm still going to do another video again because people asked me questions I'm yet to answer. And it's still about this Ikoyi registry thing. But I have dropped 2 videos already about Ikoyi registry. I'm not going to drop another one. If you need anything, I answered it in the 2 videos. So just go watch the 2 videos. All the answers are there. Okay, for people who sent me message to ask me questions like the bride price, what did my husband bring for bride price, um what questions did they ask me again, where did I get married? I think somebody asked me someone even asked me why my ring is black. Why I picked a black ring. A lot of questions. So we're going to do another video. It will probably be a question video. Like it will probably be you know, a seat and a place where I answer all your questions, guys. So if you're watching this video now and you have any questions you want to ask me, please drop it in this video. I will get it and then I'll pull all the questions together and then come back and answer every question you want to ask me. You want to ask me about the wedding, you want to ask about me personally, you want to ask about my husband, you want any question you want to ask me, put it in the comment section in this video, and I sure will answer you with my next video. Okay, thank you so much for watching once again. If you are not subscribed to my channel, I love you so much. Please subscribe to my channel so you get to see other videos and you be part of my community. To all the upcoming brides, to all the brides in planning, to all the brides that are planning their weddings right now, I wish you God's strength and I wish you God's love. God will wrap his arms around you and give you discernment on things you should do and ways you should go. I do not wish problems upon you. God will cover you and your husband with so much blessing and love and guidance, because it's very important. Okay, I'll see you guys on the next one. Do have yourself a beautiful day, and I love you, but God loves you more. Bye.